granary. I know. You want to speak. You hovering overhead, waiting. All right, I say. Let the words come. Let them flow like grain from the granary bin, streaming in torrents and waves, rushing to return their gold to the sun. The old woman's night song. Now I am old, my bones go rattling through me. Aye, these are the bones that carried me up to the berry-picking ground in spring. My bucket was full. Aye, these are the bones that danced to the spirit drums as the ghost people watched from the fire. Aye, these are the bones that parted for my child, little raven eye seeking its lost brothers and sisters. Aye, but now my bones go rattling through me as I dance. Blue-black shadow of owl wing circling under the bone-white moon.
Her body revealed at last. Nature is hymn, my friend, one dance, one body. Rumi. Number 1. Ice plants. I can say nothing of the lost kingdoms, Atlantis, Shambhala, the mystic crossing lines, but here, these trembling spears of sun, swimming mirrors of russet and green, transparent fish blades thrusting, dancing upwards in this net of light, the ocean's luminous catch, ready for tomorrow's market, ready to be tasted, to be swallowed whole.
2. Rainbows. As if the storm were not enough, then there were rainbows. Rainbows not made of sky, but fashioned from the waves' own sheen. Hued ribbons unfurling, lilac, amber, blue, flinging themselves across the line of spray in arcs that streamed along the spume like world horizons blown to color, like energies of water sprites released in shooting, circling bands. In some celebration we witnessed silently, not knowing then what it was we were looking on, or if we were meant to see.
3. Before the pleated wings of summer. Nothing is wild here, but they push through in ways to deceive all but the keenest eye. As if seed randomly sown ascended in throats of colour, great swatches of iris singing darkly, along with the spills of poppy, dust of saffron and gold, white daisy grazing the beds. I think she is leaping forth again in her gauzy muslin, rehearsing her coy fandango, her spriggy green gavotte.
The seraphim in winter. It was winter. They cared nothing. They stood there in their bold assertions, quivering cones of flame, banded yellow, orange, and red. They said, "We are here. We are the presences. Observe what happens when the irreducibles bleed." and each time a hummingbird appeared, vanishing circle of light, its iridescent thrust not a violation, but a swift pleasure, a mating over and over of what is rooted and what pauses and flees.
Scars of Rapture. Shams, I have done everything I know, so this would not happen. You came into my life like a wing of fire, possessing and possessed by something not seen. When you first spoke, my books turned to clay, and my throat closed around a lost syllable. Your eyes burned over me, leaving scars of rapture. My spirit became a field, swept clean by flame. Can you think how it was that morning I woke first and found you, an unbound mystery, by my side? Or the day we did not eat, but drank from one another's light till we were ribboned by dusk? The air here holds only emptiness, a little dust stirring. I think there will be wind tonight, and the camels will cry out in their sleep.
The moment. We must die because we have known them. Rilke. And not once, but many times over, again and again, how we disappeared into that deep well of darkness, shuddering beneath that load of silence, clinging to our narrow ledge. Yet the darkness sometimes unfolded as light. Our atoms dissolved in it, each separate molecule opening into a radiant disk of feeling. How still we became, witness and thing seen, spectacle and observer, each point admitting an untrammeled flood.
Shambhala. This is a place that has no place, a city of light that has no sun. Travelers seek it in drifts of desert, tall mountains hung with snow. Who goes there cannot tell the way.
Their weighted muses. How can I believe in something just because it happened? This outward agitation, these shifting scenes and patterns. All I know is the music within. Blood pulse, cry of atoms along the template of bone. Even the names of flowers and trees are always escaping me. Sometimes I envy them, their tangibles, their things of substance and form, their weighted muses hung with segments of the real.
A sense of infinite passage. I have always been struck by essentials, not the corrugated surfaces of the mountains seen from above, or the amber jewel flickering at the tip of the wing, but the sense of infinite passage, the going through and into, the sequence of moments peeling off the immediate like a skin, layers of conclusions and beginnings, the endless field of cobalt which lies ahead.
A single tree. Not so much time itself as the changes, the constant shifting and metamorphosing of things into their opposites, or, more likely, diminished versions of themselves. The cat grown old stumbles about the room and doesn't remember the year she leapt from sill to sill, taking the lace curtains down as she went. And the tree, a blackened scar, opening its side to weather, minus its most stately branch, long since taken off by wind or lightning or something obsessed with symmetry. Does it recall the winter it stood alone, unyielding, against the hammering gale? Or its abundant leafiness in spring? Its green proclamation of all that continues unabated in this world?
The yogi inside. What she wants is not words nor fastenings, nor doctrine spinning over her like salt, nor precincts set off by markers. This is sacred space. Wherever she steps is holy ground. Moving, she traces streams of light with her hands, her body. When she listens, she becomes a spreading tree of silence that knows only itself.
Waiting, the jeweled cloud sways overhead, waiting. Meanwhile our cells are turning to air, finer and finer arrangements of light.
Teresa's enigma. How can I explain this? Yesterday, pain cleaving a path over shoulder and arm, eyes stunned by arrows of light, back a maze of burning rivers. Today, Vivaldi, Stabat Mater, a subtle lifting in the heart, wrists floating in rapture, in my mouth the taste of honey and flame.
Locating the invisible. I have nothing to go on, not even a name. If asked what tradition, I can only look away. Is it enough, this touching within, this constant infusion of the other?
Something else. Whatever it is hangs over us, wants us to keep on gliding forward, as if a compass nestled in the heart, as if a hidden magnet were always calling to the bits of iron which swim in the blood, or a boat was being drawn ahead by a canal-man with his steady line and unwavering eye, not asking why, just doing it, even on the days we awaken amidst the ruins of the spirit and have nothing to offer, except a longing for the smell of hyacinths and something else we can't fully recall.
Whoever went in naked to the core, whoever cast aside all the armor, all the fastenings, who could breathe air thin as flame, drink water pressed from rose petals or violets, whoever stayed in that darkness so dark it became a circle of seeing, who could hear the silent flute note of the stilled wind hold rock turning to light. On this grace, I did nothing to deserve this. I came here, lived my life, entered in as best I could. At first I wandered through other people's stories. A child with a solitary book, a child dreaming by the fire. Then I tried love. Those spicy apples were sweet in my mouth. Their fragrance filled the air. I was a pushover, sending my heart along with the gift of roses. Soon I learned how to fall from a great height. Soon I felt how it was to be decomposed back to earth, to dry seed. It was only when I felt I'd had enough of this that something opened inside. I could not name it. I could find no one to direct me along its course. There was only this something, insistent pressure of claiming and being claimed. Now it is like a flower that will not be thwarted, that keeps unfolding, relentless, petal by petal, a hidden sun.
When we stumble and find it, we all have our favorite themes, the ones we say over and over in 1,000 different tongues. Mine is the moment which changed my life forever, not the one I planned for or expected, but the one which simply happened. It could have been a revelation speaking from a cloud of fire. It could have been a rare accomplishment, election descending like a dove after so many years. It was none of these. Merely a moment, the one I keep returning to, feeling along the wall for the hidden latch which will spring open and reveal the undefined.
The unknown angel, one, on the invisible one who comes. What is it keeps coming, morning after morning, rousing me to a question and a longing? What is this airy resonance like a quickening spirit gong? Now I know what Psyche faced, her fatal candle splash. Now I understand the difficulty of mating with invisibles.
2. Confronting the angel. Who is this that's always wanting to be me, coming in unannounced like a guest arriving unexpectedly, or a stray showing up at the door at dinner time? I'm not sure when I issued this invitation, or where it was addressed, or, for that matter, how long he's been hanging around, or even how all this got started. Sometimes I think we try on each other's clothes, just to see how it is, to know how the other half lives. Sometimes we speak in an altered voice, mimicking the other's tone, or else forget all about borders and rush together as some utterly new, not yet discovered thing. Sometimes I think, this is what I have been wanting in all my lifetimes, again and again, forgetting all else while the worlds turned over.
3. The other. I can stand it that you arrive with no name, come in without face or form. I can bear the reality of pressure without weight, movement without presence. But how do you choose your time to appear, the moment to go? What is it you keep almost saying? And where are you when you are not here with me?
4. The unknown angel. Sometimes I think you are all of our past lives jumbled together. All the lovers we wanted who went away. All the nights we lay together with the chosen one until the ending. Everything that's disappeared, whirled backwards into Anima Mundi, the place that takes in the world's many discards after they've finished here. Or maybe you are some lost poet, fragmented and searching, dreaming among the hungry ghosts. Perhaps our souls once joined together, or else they came from the same reality. Hence why I loved you, why you loved me despite your vastness, why we always struggle, each of us, to cross the boundaries into the other's realm, carried over by masks, by music, a subtle shifting of the dancer's pose.
The godmother. 1. The nurturer. She is a breast hanging down from the sky. Open your mouth and feel the thin, sweet milk of the sun roll down your throat.
2. Our Lady of the plants and animals. Everything blooms from her body. Her arms are long-stemmed lilies, her ears the shells from which the anemones spring, purple hyacinths spiral between her thighs. Small creatures unfold from her sides and belly, rabbit, ground squirrel, pig, the cautious field mouse, and the cat who will eat it, the fish and the larger fish swimming forth together. From her throat 5 thrushes are leaving in eddies of sound.
3. Kali, goddess of death. She wears her corded necklace of skulls, and her arms hold many strong implements. One is silver, dipped in red. We have forgotten its name, but we know its meaning. One sweep, and everything vanishes. We, our fleshly forms and intentions, our notions of things, dissolving one swift stroke, and the pattern of millennia is reversed. Atoms shattered back to nothingness, worlds tumbling back to darkness, to before.
God's mistress. The other bears his ring and name. I lurk in doorways, clothed in shadow, waiting for a touch so intense I no longer care what they call me or whisper about in the kitchens. I am the wanton who keeps close company with what the fathers denounce and the many shun. When God comes calling on his whore, the sidewalks empty and all curtains close.
The secret. I carry it around like a flower or a flame concealed under a dark canister. Its glass so thick no light can pierce its black skin. Sometimes I think I am no better than some Caliban raving in his cave, conjuring visions, or an ordinary housewife who plays harlot by night. Sometimes I think I grow tired of my burden, want to set it down. Let someone else bear this cargo of love.
Still life. The rose that no longer blooms in the garden blooms inside her whole body, among the veins and organs and the skeleton. Linda Gregg. A hidden blossoming. Petals flaming beneath the skin, and a softness pressing, as delicate as the mouth of a blind lover. Each movement, each quiet gesture awakens a rosary in the blood. Was it desire which brought her to this moment, this arrival at source? Or was it merely a need to be still, to be richly fed from this fountain of dark silence?
A hollow throat for Helen. Jalaluddin, what have you done to me? I have given you everything, but nothing has prepared me for this. First you took my jewels, my jade ankle bracelets, my sapphire bands, leaving behind only a tracing of light to mark where they had been. Then my veils dropped one by one in a sweep of silk. How could I protect this nothingness I had become, this crystal abyss? Before, when you came, you wore a vague plume or turban, making you seem real, a being more like me. Or else invisible, you opened the hidden passages by silence or breath, or a movement like flowers swaying under water. Even then, the secret bliss waves were partly mine, and I knew who I was. Now everything has dissolved to music, a single note from a struck Tibetan bowl, like a hollow throat gathering the world into itself. Even this I could have borne. But there was no instrument or bell, only a single pure tone rising through this woman before me, universe beginning, lost primordial hum, and I, as no one, was entered, sounded as a current moved through my body like God.
1,000 ways. The beloved knows 1,000 ways to enter your body. When you were young, she sent you a lover of flesh who stood near to awaken your nature. Now God is your unseen paramour, arriving without notice on unexpected occasions. To discover her, turn gently and follow your breath to the center of your being.
Don't turn away. Don't turn away. I know. I am no longer the young dancer. I sit quietly, hands folded, a stiff back. But even now, break the channels open. Let it come in, that something which tells me who you are. I want to be bathed in it, 100 rose gardens opening at once. Even if it is only a quiver of feeling, let it happen. Tell me you are there.
Almost against my will. Once more, I was not prepared. Once more, it came on me suddenly, like an ice storm in June, a flood crashing over the parched desert floor at summer's end. And there I was, captive once again of these feelings insubstantial as thoughts, as images. Familiar music of silence, echoing through my body's deepening canyons.
The token. They call it the formless absolute. I call it the one who is near. In order to describe it, I can say nothing. How can mere syllables capture that which has no name, is never seen, leaves only a small footmark when it goes?
The god's abode. Some say the god lies coiled at the base of the slender tree, serpent waiting to raise his head. Others seek rapture in the belly, hands curving over navel. Still others would find a quiet opening into heart or forehead, imploring gift of compassion, jewel of knowing. The God is all around us and in us. As light pours through water, she enters us. We are her translucent vessel, container and contained.
The gods unchosen neither sulk nor grieve. I think they have been watching us all along, those unseen realities, swarming like locusts or butterflies around our griefs, our elations, vying to see who will be chosen, which we will elect to come forward, to be seen, carried under our arms to the hilltop, set up for all to view, to be worshipped and confirmed, noticed at last. The others, meanwhile, don't give up hope. They neither sulk nor grieve. They know their turn is coming. This world is needy, hungers for all the gods it can get, inhales them like wafers, like breath. The gods are useful, holding us in their transparent hands, even the ones without names or statues, those who have breasts and those who look like mountains or hanging mountain lakes, aspen fired in gold.
In the forest was a path which led on and on as if an access to a deeper realm, a place where peripherals, the eddies at the edge of things, were all forgotten. And I entered a silence of green, became a soundless vortex moving through stillness.
In childhood, we dream it into being. At the end of my journey, there was a threshold. If you stand very still, they said, you may discover the thing you have come for. I looked around cautiously. Branches wove shadows to lace. Birds called back and forth in languages I did not understand. Do you know what it is like to struggle, to strive for centuries, and still arrive with empty hands? Whisper of voices circled in air. The guides had hidden clues under rocks, behind waterfalls, in green-drenched branches. But which? Desperately, I turned the ground leaves over, one by one, plunged my wrist into the ripe loam of earth. Finally, I touched it, the fragment I had buried there so long ago. And I remembered the child at play, the singing lute, the silver ribbon fixed to the velvet pouch, whose lettering read, "Here is the treasure that waits, the gift that wants to be found."
The difficulty of return. When I first got back, I thought people would wish to listen, moved by my unlikely tale. Soon I saw that to them I was mere pariah, outcast, traveller from a far country no one had ever heard of, much less believed in. Those goods I brought home were invisible to all but the most discerning eye. My recitals, my celebrations and laments of what transpired, a dumb show to all but the most finely tuned ear. Now I am ringed by a halo of silence, and move cautiously, mouth closed, over this stone I carry on my tongue.
Love flings us forward. Yes, of course. What good is it? This feeling, this ecstasy surging in the limbs, the heart, abyss of bliss which swallows you each day, stunning consciousness, silencing the tongue. What purpose has been served if the war, cancer, oblivious parent, or callous mate, with the blow or an unlucky turn of things, shatters the dream which is your life, weaving a dark stain over your gleaming spirit garb? The inscrutable advances, whirls us like milk spores over the rocks of the stream, force echoing force, life embracing life, dashing us along as if nothing mattered but this, the hammering wave, its forward rush, this riot of love across the weathering stone. Oh, yes, I wanted to make love until we were dust and ashes. Li Po. That's it. Dust and ashes, and a flame in which we burn always. A crescent blaze of love, surfaces dissolving, until nothing is left of us but a fine ash at the core, and then that, too, melting to a nothingness, only a marker where a somebody, a something once was.